Most minimum wage workers are women. Most low-wage workers are women.
When you're living paycheck to paycheck, one crisis can put you in a shelter.
Many of the occupations at the low end of the workforce are disproportionately women's occupations, and that would include everything from retail to home care, child care, etc.
The only people that get to move up at the stores that I worked at are the people who are available 24/7. Well, if you're a mom and you're taking care of your elderly parents, or you're a mom and you have, another job taking care of your children, you can't be available 24/7.
This is a women's issue.
Minimum wage.
Minimum wage.
Minimum wage
is a women's issue.
Something like 58% of all the people who would be affected by the increase in minimum wage are women in Minnesota. And even though 77% of them are white people, disproportionate shares of Latinos, African Americans, Native Americans, and Asian Americans would receive a boost from an increase in the minimum wage.
More and more women especially are getting pushed into these industries like retail, hospitality, temp work is huge, healthcare, where they're not moving up and they're not moving out of poverty. It's very stagnant, and that impacts their kids when they're moving 4 times a year, going back and forth between shelter and an apartment and shelter and their grandmother's house. That's not good for anybody in the family.
I was working in a grocery store, but I couldn't afford to buy the amount of groceries that I needed. So I went for about 3 months where I couldn't even afford to eat 3 meals a day. And so I would eat a protein bar in the morning and have something for lunch, and then I would cook dinner for my kids and just go take a shower and get my mind off of it, or go sit outside while they ate so that I didn't have to be around the food. It was really, and I've told that story before, and I've told people before, I wasn't able to afford everything and I was living in poverty, and people hear that all of the time, people in poverty, but what they don't understand is how that feels. And when I was married and I had a nice house, I didn't understand really what that meant until I went through it myself.
There are some aspects of running a household economy that are so difficult for women in poverty. I've met dozens and dozens of women who were working in jobs that had no stability, so jobs that are part-time, jobs that are temporary, jobs that pay minimum wage, jobs that have hours that can change at a moment's notice. For instance, if you're working at a restaurant, you're not guaranteed all your hours if business is slow, same in retail and some other industries. And so we're seeing women in these positions who are stuck between really low wage, unpredictable work and welfare.
And that feeling of not being able to have success in your life, it really gets to your psyche, and it really brings you down to a point where you just struggle to just even have the motivation to get up in the morning and make sure that you go and you do it all over again. For what? For what? And really, trying to make sure that your kids are protected and having a great life too, and so you're going through this oftentimes very internally. When you're at work, you're all smiles. How can I help you? And you're always that person there to help other people every day, make sure that they get what they want. And inside, you're just dying because there's just nobody that you can go to that's going to be like, how can I help you?
We raised the minimum wage to $9.50 by 2015. That means every single year after 2015, $256 million will go into the pockets and the paychecks of women in Minnesota.
Increasing the minimum wage is one of the easiest things that we can do without creating another program. It's not a program. We like that. And so for the workers that are taking care of our kids in daycare and who are taking care of our grandparents in nursing homes and bringing us up at Target, like they deserve more.